Hello, everyone. Let's proceed with Chapter 5. Lauren couldn't tear her gaze away from the breathtaking panorama of Lake Michigan. The waves sparkled like scattered gems, their blue hues reflecting the sky's brilliance. Nick's voice pulled her attention back. "We'll be there in a few minutes," he said, guiding the car off the highway onto a quiet country road framed by towering pine trees. The scenery was serene, a stark contrast to the bustling city they had left behind. The road wound its way through the forest, offering occasional glimpses of the lake. Eventually, they turned onto an unmarked blacktop driveway. The path meandered gracefully between mountain ash trees, their branches laden with clusters of bright orange fruit. Lauren's initial idea of a quaint lake cottage faded as she looked at the immaculate landscape. This was no ordinary getaway. The car emerged from the trees, and the golden glow of the setting sun enveloped them. Lauren's heart skipped a beat as they pulled up behind an array of luxury cars. She blinked at the sight that awaited her. Against the backdrop of a steep bluff stood an immense, modernistic three-story house. Acres of lush green lawns sloped down to a sandy beach. Colorful umbrellas and lounge chairs adorned the landscape. Waiters in light blue jackets moved gracefully through the crowd, serving trays of delicacies. Celebrities and affluent individuals mingled, their voices creating a lively buzz. White yachts, seemingly unperturbed by the lake's depth and potential storms, anchored on the water's surface. Lauren was in awe, absorbing the grandeur of it all. Nick stepped out of the car and walked around to open her door. As she joined him, he mentioned, "I'm sorry, Lauren. If I'd known Tracy's little gathering was going to be like this, I'd never have brought you here." Maintaining an air of nonchalance, Lauren responded with a faint smile. "Maybe. If we're lucky, no one will realize we're here." Nick's expression remained annoyed, but he seemed to appreciate her attempt at humor. They walked along the lawn's perimeter, bordered by dense woods. A bar had been set up for the guests, and Nick stepped behind it to make drinks. Lauren observed the crowd, her gaze lingering on a group nearby. A striking redhead caught her attention and approached Nick with familiarity. Lauren's unease deepened as she watched their interaction. A new woman, Barbara Leonardos, left her friends and embraced Nick with an affection that wasn't lost on Lauren. Nick, in turn, welcomed her warm embrace. Lauren felt like an outsider, observing a world she had only glimpsed in magazines. Barbara's departure prompted Nick to introduce Lauren to their hosts, Tracy and George Middleton. Tracy confessed that the gathering had grown beyond their expectations, transforming their serene abode into a bustling event. As twilight painted the sky with shades of pink and gold, Tracy mentioned that everyone was dressing for dinner. Panic surged within Lauren as she realized she had no appropriate attire for such an occasion. Nick's calm reassurance that he would arrange a dress for her and change at the Cove brought relief. In Tracy's room later, Lauren marveled at the cream jersey dress she had been lent. The fabric hugged her curves, the gold link belt accentuating her waist. The dress exuded sophistication and elegance. With her hair flowing in waves and her face lightly made up, Lauren felt a transformation. She joined Nick outside, where the festivities were in full swing. The poolside was alive with laughter, music, and vibrant conversations. The guests, a mix of celebrities and affluent individuals, created an electrifying atmosphere. Lauren and Nick navigated through the crowd, enjoying the opulent surroundings while stealing moments of intimacy. Nick's black tuxedo accentuated his tall frame and chiseled features. Lauren couldn't help but admire him, feeling proud to stand by his side. His attention never wavered from her, even in the midst of the dazzling spectacle. Their connection deepened as they shared candid conversations amidst the extravagance. As the night progressed, torches were lit around the pool, creating an enchanting ambiance. Musicians set up on a portable stage, preparing to serenade the guests. Nick and Lauren found themselves drawn to each other, their chemistry palpable. Amidst the laughter and music, Nick's gaze locked onto Lauren's, his eyes burning with intensity. He stepped closer, his voice husky. "If I'm so beautiful, why won't you look at me?" Lauren's attempt at flattery had clearly caught his attention. Realizing her evasion, Lauren chuckled softly. "That was a silly thing for me to tell you. It was definitely a gross exaggeration." Nick's eyes danced with amusement. "But I liked it, and in case you're interested, no one has ever told me that before." Their playful banter continued, revealing the mutual attraction they felt. As they laughed and conversed, the world around them faded into the background. The night held a promise of enchantment and intrigue. the allure of the opulent gathering. In the span of the next 5 minutes, Nick's name was called by 6 other individuals. Each time, he was pulled away from Lauren's side, prompting him to voice his irritation. As much as I'd like to spend the evening alone with you, we're going to have to socialize. I can't keep pretending I'm blind and deaf much longer. Understanding the situation, Lauren responded sympathetically. I understand. They're very rich and very spoiled, and because you work for them, they think they own you. Nick raised an eyebrow in surprise. What makes you think I work for them? Lauren leaned in, her voice hushed. I accidentally overheard Bibi Leonardos tell someone that her husband came here from Rome because he wants to talk to you about building international hotels. And the other woman said that her husband, whose name is Carlton, is here to talk to you about some kind of business too. Nick glanced over the crowd, his annoyance evident. I came up here because I've been working myself into the ground for 2 months and I wanted to relax for a weekend, he said with frustration. If you really don't want to talk to anyone about business, there's no reason why you have to do it. He sighed, explaining, when people have come thousands of miles to talk to you, they can be damned persistent. His eyes scanned the other guests, and unless I miss my guess, there are at least 4 other men who have come here to do exactly that. Lauren grinned confidently. Just leave them to me. I'll hold them off. His lips curved into a smile. You will? And just how will you do that? With a playful glint in her eyes, Lauren revealed her plan. The moment anyone starts talking to you about business, I'll interrupt and pretend to distract you. Nick's gaze turned more intense, locking onto her lips. That shouldn't be difficult. You always distract me. For the following hours, Lauren executed her plan flawlessly. With strategic finesse, she guided Nick away from numerous business discussions. Whenever a conversation seemed to veer into work-related territory, she interjected with playful diversions, reminding him of their plans to explore the grounds or take a walk. Nick allowed her to guide him, both amused and impressed by her tactics. With her at his side, he shielded himself from the encroaching conversations. As the night wore on, the atmosphere became livelier, with louder conversations and more persistent attempts to engage Nick in business talk. Need to stretch your legs, Nick teased in a whisper as they moved away from a persistent guest. Lauren sipped her after-dinner drink, her thoughts beginning to mellow. Of course not. My legs are perfect, she giggled at the sight of a group playing doubles tennis on a single court, the French movie star among them, sporting a daring outfit. Taking her empty glass, Nick suggested, "Shall we walk down to the beach?" They found themselves on the beach, listening to the distant music and watching moonlight dancing on the lake surface. Dance with me, Nick's invitation was irresistible, and Lauren nestled into his arms, feeling the rhythmic pull of his movements. The day had been a whirlwind of emotions, from anticipation to laughter, from hope to desire. Lauren's head spun with fatigue and the effects of the evening's indulgence. She giggled softly, her thoughts drifting to the tennis-playing French movie star. If I was playing tennis, I'd have left my skirt on and taken my shoes off. Do you know why? Nick's arms held her close, and he suggested, so you could play better. Amused, Lauren lifted her gaze to his. Nope, I don't even know how to play tennis. She grew serious, nestling closer. The reason I'd keep my skirt on is because I'm modest, or am I inhibited? Well, anyway, I'm one of the two. She rested her head against him, comforted by his warmth. Their proximity heightened Nick's desire, and he suggested they head to the cove. The allure of the moment overpowered their senses, and their lips met in a fierce kiss. The passionate exchange left them both breathless, a magnetic connection too strong to ignore. I want you, Lauren, Nick confessed, his voice a quiet declaration. Her heart raced at his words, and she admitted, I know, and I'm glad you do. Nick's gaze held warmth and approval, and his hand caressed her cheek, and meeting his gaze, Lauren shared her truth, and I want you. Their chemistry was undeniable, the spark between them undeniable. Nick's lips descended upon hers again, claiming her in a kiss that sent waves of desire coursing through her. Her body melted into his, desire and anticipation mingling in the night air. But as the intensity grew, their intimate moment was interrupted by a friendly voice, pulling them back to the present. Lauren felt both flustered and amused as Nick dealt with the interruption, and soon they were joined by Dave Numbers, a man known for his affinity with numbers and gambling. Their conversation was casual, though Lauren could feel the magnetic pull between her and Nick. With his arm around her, Nick led her back to the house, their steps guided by an unspoken understanding. Lauren's thoughts were a swirl of desire, uncertainty, and a fierce determination to make Nick see her as more than just another woman. As Nick left, promising to meet her at the cove the next day, Lauren sank onto her bed, wrapping herself in the moment's bliss. She contemplated the enigmatic man who had entered her life, his confidence and charm, and the fiery connection that had ignited between them. And as she drifted into sleep, Lauren knew that destiny was guiding her towards something extraordinary, a journey she was eager to explore. Looking forward to connecting in Chapter 6.